Welcome to this week's episode of the Success Realtor podcast by yours truly, Colleen Wood. Here is where we celebrate success in real estate and share the wisdom and struggle so that others can be successful too. If you're a new listener, I'm the producing branch manager of the Wood team at Hometown Lenders, and I'm known for helping realtors earn a lot more money in commissions without selling their soul to the industry and while maintaining balance with what's most important in life. I am so excited to not only be interviewing, but sitting in office with Kelly Broling-Smoak, Realtor with Coldwell Banker Distinctive Properties out of Bozeman, Montana, and my dear, dear friend. Kelly, thank you so much for this opportunity to visit with you.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, this is so much fun. Your office is so beautiful.
Thank you. I'm
Oh.
excited. Lori Garden from Interior Republic Designs
Oh,
put it
wow.
together for me,
Uh,
for us. So I love being here, doing work here.
That's so nice. So many realtors don't work out of their offices. They work from home. Do you love working in office?
I have to work in office. I
Mhm.
cannot work from my home.
Yeah.
That's impossible. There's too many things to do at my house, too much organization that needs to happen in my house. I have to work from an office.
Same. I have to get up and go to the office. I have to be there at 8 o'clock. I have to have a regular schedule. Otherwise, I find myself puttering,
Yeah,
like we do
exactly.
at the house. So
Oh, yeah.
I love that you come in the office. It's not very common anymore that we see that.
Well, I'm really good at procrastination, so I can really put some things off at my house. The blinds need dusting. Oh, hold on, everybody. Yeah, no, I
I
have to work
love
with
that.
office.
I love that. So let's just dive right in. When did you know that you wanted to be a realtor?
Everybody has an opinion about what you should do. Everybody told me, "Oh, Kelly, you need to be a lawyer," or, "Oh, you should be a realtor." But I think that I knew that I wanted to be a realtor once my kids were in school
Uh-huh.
and I was gonna go back into the workforce,
Mhm.
but yet I wanted flexibility.
Mhm.
And I know that that's just kind of a typical answer, but it's true. I wanted to go to the soccer games. I wanted to pick them up from school. I wanted to drop them off from school. And I'm really money motivated and I wanted to
Oh,
make a lot of money.
same, same. You want a big effect of your energy, the things that you're putting energy in. We want to get paid well, you
Yes.
know?
I mean, I think I'm worth it.
You are.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are.
Well, I put my whole self in. I have extremely high expectations
Yeah.
of myself. So I have high expectations of my surroundings, my provision, my compensation.
Absolutely. How long of a hiatus did you take while your kids were little? That time away from work in the working world. How long did you step away?
Oh gosh. I mean, I definitely stepped away for probably 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you and I know as women that a 15-year hiatus as a woman from employment essentially puts you back at the bottom of the bucket
Oh, I
when
was
it comes.
absolutely at the bottom.
Yeah, your entry level employment, you don't have experience, your resume looks empty because you've had 15 years off doing the best job that we have out there, which is raising our babies. And that's amazing because you were able to walk into what was a new career and become relatively successful really quickly.
Well, honestly, I had to fight for a position in the real estate world.
Wow.
I got told no several times.
Wow.
So I had to keep coming back
Mhm.
and making myself more relevant to the company I wanted to work for. So I started with Berkshire Hathaway
Uh-huh.
and I was told no quite a few times that I could
Wow.
not work there, but I did work there for 10 years.
Wow.
Finally, Mike Basil hired me and I'm forever grateful to him and
Uh-huh.
appreciate and love him. And
I love Mike Basil.
yeah,
He's
he's
such a good guy.
amazing. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, so you were just talking about how you got started. Did you end up coming in as a realtor or did you come in as somebody's assistant? Did you do marketing? How did you get in?
So I actually am blessed, extremely blessed to have a father who really showed me what it looks like to have a work ethic.
Wow.
He has always gotten up at 3 in the morning and worked the entire day to provide for his family. And he has construction companies and he has always had construction companies my entire life. So I've been on the job site since I was, yay high. And we started with some listings. So he came in. I moved to Montana in 1994. He started his construction companies, you know, I don't know, in the 70s.
Wow.
And so he bought some lots during the downturn. And I actually came in during the downturn.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we started with some listings. So I did start with a really good friend of mine, Diane Kohlberg, and love and appreciate her to death. We don't get to talk all the time because we're so busy and she's in a completely different market.
Yeah.
But I did start with her and she definitely helped me. And Mike Basil, Kristen Hoyle, they all helped me grow and start my trajectory.
So you touched on that, and I just want to circle back. You started in a downturn.
I did.
There's some feedback that we've gotten that we are in what has been a downturn compared to what we've seen in the last couple of years. What would you say to a realtor that was wanting to get started in this market?
I think that there's opportunity there. My personal opinion is during a downturn, I've always been blessed to work with investors, developers, a lot of dirt up projects. And so I really appreciate that experience that I've had. And I really think that during a downturn, you're going to see those clients that have cash come out of the woodwork. We all know that real estate is going to be one of our long-term best investments, in a downturn, out of a downturn. We don't buy something to flip it. Even that's what people did during COVID because they gained so much equity. But I just think that you're going to always have opportunity where you see and make opportunity. That's my opinion.
Absolutely.
And I mean, my girls and I were going through a different phase of life. I had gone through a divorce. And we were literally living on food stamps.
Wow.
And so I had a really big hunger, a really big why as to, how to make myself successful and that I had to make myself successful.
Absolutely. That hunger is it's a gift when you're starting something out. And as much as it sucks in the time to have to be that hungry, it's going to make sure that you are on point, doing what it is you're supposed to be doing it, when you're supposed to be doing it. And sometimes that means, longer hours and doing whatever it takes in order to get your business started. We talk about boundaries, but when you're brand new like that and you're hungry, you have no boundaries. There's no boundaries. You'll take anybody that has a place.
I'm bad at boundaries. I still don't have any boundaries. So, I mean, sometimes I have clients, and she would laugh if she watched this, that text me at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And I may or may not answer it at 3 a.m, but, you're welcome to text me at 3 a.m. It's hard to have boundaries in this business because I'm really no different in my personal life than I am in my professional life. I'm the exact same. So my clients are my family and, a lot of my family are my clients.
Yeah. No, that's really important too, is that, our business life and our work life just really gets intermingled. And some people are really affronted by that. I just feel like it's easier just to kind of flow in and out of both all the time. And I stay on top of things more regularly. My realtors are my friends. So we're talking on a regular basis. It's not off-putting to me to talk to a realtor on a Sunday afternoon. That doesn't bother me because they're my friends. I want to put deals together. So boundaries are important, but I don't know. I kind of like the way it is. I like it better than just the 8 to 5.
If I had to be two different people, if I had to be work Kelly and home Kelly, it wouldn't work for me because I don't know how to be anything different than my authentic self. And I may drive some people crazy, and some people are drawn to me, and some people are, the opposite.
Well, who cares about that? What's your favorite aspect about your job?
My favorite aspect about my job. I, again, love the relationships. I love people. I really appreciate that I get to be in charge of my own story. Nobody else is in charge of my story. I get to be in charge of my destiny, my story. So I control my daily tasks. I control my provision. I control the money that comes in, the money that goes out. I really appreciate the fact that I work for myself. And so, a lot of times they always say, if you were the president of your company, would you hire you? Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm self-motivated. So, and I've learned that over the years. If someone doesn't feel self-motivated, you can learn that. It's okay if you're not self-motivated right now. You can teach yourself discipline.
Yeah. Motivation comes from consistent effort, and it's like motivation typically doesn't come from the beginning. It comes from you putting in effort and then seeing the ball start to roll, and then we get excited and motivated, but people typically don't start with motivation. And we have such a culture right now where people are looking for motivation. You're not going to find it. It's not underneath a rock. You got to start heading into it in a direction, start making actions. I like what you said, though, especially for real estate. If you were the president of your company, would you hire you? That's a great question to ask yourself.
I think you need to ask yourself that, on a regular basis. I always think we need to look on the inside and see what we're doing. Where are we going? What's most important? Look at the lists that you're making for yourself every day. Are you doing the most important thing? So I started making a most important list. What has to be done today? And of course, I'm still a mom. I'm still a wife. I'm still Kelly. I have, my best friend since the 7th grade. She's also a realtor, so she understands a little bit about what I'm doing. But I think that you constantly have to be examining yourself, examining your work, examining what I did last year. What am I going to do this year? I do have a business coach. I mean, some people might think, oh, she doesn't need a business coach. She's already doing.
Right.
No, I mean, there are new places I want to go. There are new avenues that I want to explore. I'm not satisfied with the status quo.
Wow.
I constantly want to be growing, stretching in every area of my life, in my spiritual life, in my work life, in my home life with my husband and my kids. I want to learn, grow, stretch, expand.
I love that. So just for comparison and reference, how long have you been a realtor?
So I started with my private teacher in, I believe, 08, 09.
Okay.
So then took the test and, got the ball rolling.
So this long in real estate, still receiving coaching.
I absolutely am.
Yeah.
I started with Brian Buffini, then I went to Tom Ferry. Every company has their own gig. I am now with Coldwell Banker Distinctive Properties. Todd Conklin, Jeff Renovier, love it. This is my home. This is where I am now. Of all of the people that I've, been able to come across their path and be connected with, like Mike Basil. But now this is my home and I love where I am. And we are a big Tom Ferry organization and we love Tom Ferry. We love what he does for what he calls, and his favorite word, the ecosystem. So I love what I do and I love my coach and Tom Ferry. She is an amazing role model. She owns several Coldwell Bankers in the Oregon.
Oh.
Yeah. Coast, Central Oregon, Portland, all the places.
Wow. That's amazing. It's amazing to have a coach who's actually in the business and doing it along with you. I've noticed that through my coaching. My original first coach was a realtor, a very productive realtor based out of Florida. And that was really helpful for me to, even as a lender, to learn from a realtor to understand like what a realtor's perspective was on the things that I was doing or not doing. So that was really, really helpful. But then when I've moved into coaching my coaching clients, how we're all lenders, they really like to coach with somebody who's actually in the boat, rowing it with them through the market, through the changes. So I could see both perspectives on that. I think it's good. I love the coaching idea.
Well, absolutely. And, the thing is that one thing that I really appreciate, that I feel blessed and extremely thankful for, is that I'm still meeting new people. I love the fact that, we've tried to connect over the years and we just got to connect in 2022.
Right.
And so I let life kind of be a coach to me as well.
Yeah.
When we got together the first time, you said some really amazing things. I took some notes. I followed through with those things. I did some of those, took the disc profile.
Yeah.
So utilize every opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? Because we're given each other for a purpose,
Yeah. And our paths cross at the moment that we need them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. Okay. So what do you think is your unique skill that's helped you become so successful?
I have always been extremely attracted to passion. So when I look for, I know it sounds silly, but when I look for a doctor, when I look for a dentist, when I look for anyone, I mean, referred every single client that I've had to you in the past, weeks, months. And so I always look for that love, that passion. And I think that partially that's what I have, you know, going for me too. I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about doing an excellent job for my clients. I mean, it's what keeps me up at night. It's what wakes me up in the morning. I was telling Lainey this morning, like, I'm excited to wake up in the morning, and I'm not a morning person. I was always a night owl, but now I'm excited. Hey, Kelly, go to bed at 9, 10 o'clock so that you can get up at 5 or 6 o'clock and start your day. Like, it's exciting for me to start my day.
I heard a really great podcast recently. Tim Tebow was on Ed Milet's podcast, and he referenced passion. And he said, the definition of passion is, are you willing to sacrifice for it? Whatever that it is are you willing to sacrifice, take away from other areas of your life, whether it's, it's money, it's time, it's quality of life, in order to pursue whatever that is that you're passionate about. That really hit home with me, because that's truly what you're talking about. Anybody that's passionate to dive deep into whatever it is that they love, I think that that's just different than just enjoying something.
I think it's all encompassing too. Passion encompasses my trustworthiness. I'm transparent.
Yes.
My clients know that I'm working hard. They know that they can text me anytime. The passion encompasses our whole being.
Right.
I'm passionate about love. I love my family. I love my company. I love the people that I work with. I love, what I mean? I love this opportunity. Honestly, I'm so thankful for this opportunity.
That's wonderful. So you have expanded your team to include a buyer's agent / admin support person, Lainey Campbell. We have her here. I wanted to bring her on and ask her a couple of questions about what it is that she does for us. So I just want to kind of scoot her in here.
Absolutely. And we have 2 buyer's agents on our team. So I'm very thankful for both. But Lainey's the only one here today because you probably saw my other buyer's agent at the class this morning. She's getting accredited for the buyer's agent.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to move the camera over here so we can see this beautiful lady over here. Oh, thank you so much, Lainey, for coming on. So I wanted to ask you, what is it that you do for Kelly?
So I started working with Kelly around November of last year. And at the time, I'd had my license for about a year and just kind of doing my own thing. When Kelly, I think she had about 24 units that were coming up and closing. So we kind of sat down and she needed some help with just transaction coordination. And so started working on that. And that's when Shelby and I were kind of doing the same thing, helping her with just organizing and stuff. And when Kelly mentioned that she wanted to expand and start a team, so that's when we all talked about our goals and started with real estate group.
I love that. I love that. So how do you feel like this role has helped you with your experience as a realtor?
It's definitely been a great experience. Just, I guess, seeing everything, seeing how Kelly works and talks with her clients. And just, it's something I wish I had done from the beginning because it's so tough to not be around that and in it and just the experience of everything on the back end too. So it's been awesome just to see how she talks to everyone. And
something that I think is we talk about a lot on the podcast is how important it is as a new agent to go and work for somebody that's doing transactions. You said she had 24 units that were on the books to get closed. I mean, that's a lot of volume. And I've heard new agents say, gosh, my first year will be successful if I can close 1 transaction in the year. And like, that makes my heart pound, because if you only do 1 transaction the whole year, you just stumbled through it. You're not really learning very much from it because you don't have the opportunity for the repeat transactions in order to learn the business. Would you agree?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a new agent, there's a lot to learn and it's tough doing it on your own. So it's good to be there and get an experience with other people and people that have been in it for a while. So
do you sit in on listing presentations with her?
I haven't yet. I mean, I guess I've heard her talk with other buyers agents and other, I guess, buyers and sellers. So we've been in on those calls, but I haven't sat down with anybody.
I think some people get really, newer agents, I think, and newer lenders as well, get intimidated by talking to people, thinking that someone's going to know that you're inexperienced or that you don't know what you're talking about, or whatever that is. And so it's so nice to see and hear somebody do a presentation, whether to a buyer or a seller, or from my side, talking to a new borrower. I think it's so great. I learned from being across the hallway from my teacher, Cindy Rigler. I would listen to her every single consultation with a client. And that's how I learned how to do my job, is by listening to her do that.
Yeah.
And it was such a gift. It was such a gift. So what do you love about this job?
I love just the relationships I've built
Mm-hmm.
and people I've met. I've definitely grown a lot in the last year.
Wow.
Built a lot of confidence. It's tough at first when you're younger and, just learning everything. It's all new. So it's been really great meeting new people.
I love that about this industry too, is because it seems like every transaction and every set of people are different. And we learn something. Like, I feel like I learn every single day, and I've been doing this since 2006. And it's like every single transaction or a guideline or something changes, and we got to think about it differently. So I think that's wonderful about this whole industry. What does your average day look like?
Well, it's kind of depends. It's different. Depends on if Kelly's got things going on. But we usually meet in the mornings and kind of go over what we have to do that day or for that week. And depending on our stuff as well, it's not just since we're with our group, we still get to do our own things as well. So working on that and then helping Kelly with transaction stuff and coordinating things like that. So
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks for popping on. I appreciate that. And it's so wonderful to have the perspective of somebody that's working with a successful agent too, because it's nothing to be afraid of. And it's so important to grow and expand your team.
Yeah, I agree. I feel privileged and honored that Shelby and Lainey are trusting me
Oh,
to
wow.
pour into them.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited because I always want better. I always want more
Sure.
for myself, my family, my husband. Like I said earlier, my expectations are so high that sometimes that drives the people around me or just drives them crazy, but I think that they can see and follow my example of what I am doing. I really think that one thing that Lainey said about listening is really important. That's something that I always want to get better about, which is listening. And so I always just try to be very quiet when my clients are speaking or when Lainey or Shelby are speaking so that I can hear, I can process everything that they're saying. I want to respond to them, not react to them. That's how you build relationship. Listening, responding,
Absolutely.
building trust.
Absolutely. That's such a vital piece of being in a people business is, we tend to be like aggressive people in that, like, we'll go get it. A lot of times we can even pilot a whole conversation, even sometimes both sides, because that's just how our energy is. But it's so important for us to really listen and actually hear what it is that people are saying.
Yes, absolutely. I have someone who I dearly love in my life who is my pastor, and he always says, slow down,
Wow.
slow down. And that's been a huge thing that I've been working on the last couple of years in my business, in my life, in my conversations.
Wow.
Every conversation that we have in life, is important. My conversations that I have with my children, those are critical conversations.
Yes.
I just learned and am going to go to another conference. And that's just another thing that you and I are constantly expanding our horizons by learning from other people that are where we want to be. So Phil Jones talks a lot about what do you need to say? When do you need to say it? What are the critical conversations? And so this has morphed into me saying that always be growing, always be stretching yourself. But I do think listening is gone a little bit by the wayside. We're thinking of the next thing we want to say.
Yes.
Instead of listening to what our clients need or what Lainey and Shelby need or what our husband needs, what our children need, what our friends need. It's okay to not ignore ourselves either, but we want to work on ourselves. We want to work on listening.
Do you feel like, and in the fact that you've concentrated so much on slowing down your conversations, slowing down your transactions with people, that you notice when other people are really pushing through it. Can you see it now when other people are like rushing through a conversation and trying to get on the other
Oh,
side of it? Or
absolutely.
it's just so blaringly obvious when you're working on that yourself to see where other people are still really challenged with that.
I want to create an atmosphere that makes people feel comfortable to trust,
Mm-hmm.
feel comfortable to ask questions.
Right.
So sometimes I purposely slow down and I say, do you have any questions?
Mm-hmm.
Even though they've been asking questions throughout our entire conversation, our meeting, I will still at certain times in the conversation slow down and say, do you have any questions
Mm-hmm.
about what we just talked about? I know you do that a lot
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
are very purposeful and intentional
Mhm.
about.
Part of the coaching that I've received is very much about shortening the consult time so that you can stack more consults into the day. And I feel like I've gone the other direction where, even on my checklist that I have for my team is it's the first 3 to 5 minutes. I want you to get to know this person. Like ask great questions. I love the question, why Montana? It's always a very romantic thing for people. So it's fun to kind of just break the ice and talk about that because after that introduction conversation and getting to know them is now we're going to verify your social security number. It just seems like we should get some rapport first before we start talking about your social security number. So that's always been very important. So now my consults are always blocked for an hour, which is, that's quite a bit of time to
Yeah,
spend with
I
somebody.
love
But,
that.
we don't get the opportunity to meet with people face to face like you guys do. Our transaction is typically our communication time is like sometimes 60 days that we're communicating with each other. Whereas you guys can go for years of working with somebody to kind of walk their way into doing something. And then you're meeting with them face to face too. So our opportunity to build a relationship and rapport is such a short window that we got to do it well.
So you have almost, in some senses, it's great because you get the satisfaction of that close. Sometimes we're building relationships with people, like you just said, for years.
Mhm.
I had a 2-hour meeting with, everybody knows who Gary is. I had a
Mhm.
2-hour meeting with Gary on Sunday,
Mhm.
and we didn't just talk about real estate. He has a very healthy budget, we'll just say.
Mhm.
But, I'm not rushing him through the process.
No.
I handed him all of what's closed in the luxury space for the last 365 days. And I said, the positive thing about this, Gary, is that we know that nothing in the luxury space closed in the Bozeman area in the last 365 days that you would have said yes to.
Yeah.
That's a positive.
Good to know.
That's a
good to know.
positive.
You haven't missed
So
anything.
it's kind of nice. I'm sure you have a lot of repeat business as
Yes.
well because
Mhm.
of the integrity that you do your business with, the
Mhm.
passion that you do your business with. And that's what I want to build too.
Yeah.
I want to build those relationships,
Mhm.
that community in the Smoak real estate group.
Mhm.
I want to build a community so that those people feel like they can come back.
Mhm.
Sometimes I get that call from people, and I really am working on not having to get this call, but are you still in the real estate business?
Oh, no. Oh,
So
no.
I'm working on that. I'm working on it. We're getting our CRM bill, right, Lainey?
Yeah. So 88% of clients say to their realtor after a transaction that they will use them again, and only 12% actually do. I think it's an amazing number. It's so telling. It shows such an opportunity for a big gap that's
I
there.
love that.
Yeah.
That's actually really exciting.
Yeah, it is really exciting. And so, for realtors out there, like what Kelly's talking about is you don't ever want to be a secret agent. You need to be continuing to stay in touch and stay connected even to your past clients because they will come back.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
if you're not talking to your clients, somebody else is.
Oh, definitely.
So definitely keep that open for
I
sure.
do want to say too, I am extremely excited about that stat
Mm,
because I know that there's growth.
yes.
And I'm always teasing my girls about, I want to take over the world. Let's take over the world. One transaction at a time, one
Yes.
relationship at a time. I will say though, to the new agents or an agent that just lost out on a friend listing their home because they drove by and that sign is in the yard and it's just that gut punch.
Oh, so
It
horrible.
happens to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So just know that it's going to take you, a couple of days to get over that gut punch, but it's okay. It does happen to everyone. Pick yourself up, do better next time. But there are those people that are just going to go with someone else. Their best friend became a realtor, their wife became a realtor, whatever it is. But we're going to do everything we can do to serve our clients, to serve our community, to know that they have the freedom to, come back and be with us again.
We have an acronym in my office, and it's FIND, FIND, which stands for F it, next deal.
Yeah.
And so the acronym is also great because it means go find another deal.
Right.
Because we can get really stuck on the feeling of, oh, I lost it. I put so much energy into it and I lost it out on an eighth difference in the interest rate or something ridiculous like that. But it's a part of the business. You aren't going to win every transaction. You're not going to keep every single client. And so it's how fast can you get to the point of, okay, now let's go get another one.
Right. I mean, I do have a little bit of a grieving process.
Same, yeah.
And then, yes, you wish them the best.
Mm-hmm.
And you it's like the open hand system. Like, they can come in, they can go. I mean, I'm not going to be upset with them because they've chosen a different path.
Absolutely.
The wrong path.
Yeah,
different
absolutely the wrong path. I mean, poor lost souls. They
And
went the wrong one. I feel bad for them. So Kelly, tell me, what are you struggling with right now?
I think that the thing that I struggle with is going to the next level. So when I'm going to go to the next level, or I pick a new area, or I'm going to have to course correct, I struggle with the fear of maybe not knowing everything about that area that I'm going into. That's another reason why I feel so blessed to have two buyer's agents, because I'm constantly stretching myself to go to the next place. But when you do go to that next place, there are some growing pains because you have to learn about that area. I am the expert to my people, to my buyers. And when people are spending millions and millions of dollars on, whether it's commercial space, industrial space, multifamily space, they trust you with their, 10, 20, 30, 40 million dollars. And so I think I'm struggling right now because I am going into a new space. And so I'm learning everything I can learn. I'm soaking up everything I can soak up in that space. I am learning as I go, but again, if someone could teach me, I think we use 30% of our brain. If someone could teach me how to, use 30% more and just go to 40% of my brain, that would be excellent. So I just think that I'm always asking myself to go to the next level. So I think that I struggle when I'm in that transition time. So that's what I say I'm struggling with right now.
So what do you need more of then?
What do I need more of?
With that struggle, I think what you're talking about and expanding your brain and being able to use more of it is maybe what you need more of is a way to be able to manage all the data, the way to be able to manage what the questions are, and then looking for the answers. And the fact that you have assistants, like if you have a question about something, they could maybe go run down the answer. I think I always say as a mom, I feel like you put anything in my brain and three things fall out the back because we're so full with information. And I know what you're talking about. It's I wish that my brain would do a better job of retaining and that there was more of an opportunity for that meditative and creative space that we grow so much for. So maybe what you're needing of is a way to retain and process questions and information maybe.
Yeah, I think that time management too. I really need to learn time management. So I did do something that is definitely outside of my comfort zone. I think we all love Tony Robbins. We all love seeing what Tony Robbins did with his life, with his businesses. I did sign up for Business Mastery.
Good.
And so I think one thing, and I know that you're really good at this because you are leaving this to the people that you work with, but making myself less and less critical to the daily operation of my business. Because when I am expanding to these new areas, whether it be commercial or industrial or whatever it is, I need time to adjust to that place. I still have time for Lainey. I still have time for Shelby and my entire family, but time management is huge. What is the best way? I think we're all, any person who has their own business, anybody who's even working, a full-time job. I mean, Lainey works another job still, she has responsibilities, to this other company that she works for. She's trying to work herself out of a job, but, to do real estate full-time. But I just think time management processes of how we do our daily work, I love systems. I want systems in place that never change so that as Lainey and Shelby grow into buyer's agents and listing agents, that we have all those processes, all those systems in place. So to me, that's where, I struggle is I need to learn time management. I need to learn where is my energy best spent. And so that's why, again, I'm thankful for Shelby and Lainey.
Absolutely. If you were to start all over from square one, you were to lose everything that you had with your business, what would you do differently and how would you get started again?
If I was starting fresh, I would say, I would start as young as I possibly could. I've been in sales for probably 30 plus years. So I am grateful for that foundation that I had prior to real estate, but I probably would go into real estate right away. I would save every penny that I could save so that I could buy all the things that I'm telling my clients to buy. I want to save as much as I can. I want to be debt free. Lainey has an amazing opportunity right now to never spend money, to save every dime. You don't have to have the new car. You don't have to drive around an Audi. You don't have to have the latest, greatest bag that costs $20,000, whatever it is. Save, invest, repeat.
Absolutely. I wish I would have known that when I was younger too. I mean, there was like, whenever you start making money, and I think this is with both the realtor side, sorry, excuse me, I got a frog, the realtor side or the lender side, and you start making money, especially if you're not from money, you kind of go a little crazy at first. Did you do that?
I really do like nice things. I like pretty things. I like nice things. I just remodeled my home. So yes, I absolutely fall into that. I have a wonderful husband who goes out and works every day.
Nice.
But I do want to support, our family. I do want to support our goals. I do want to support our financial goals. And so I think you can fall into that. And I did. Again, I've worked pretty much since I was 15. I did have 4 kids in 6 years. So took a break with being a stay-at-home mom. But I just feel like building wealth is important. It's another way that we can, show around us, we can show our family, our children, our loved ones, our friends, how to build wealth. And that's by saving and investing.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I would do different. I would just save more, invest more.
So what is your greatest fear and how do you manage that?
Not probably continuing on the trajectory that I am now. That would be my greatest fear. So that's what motivates me. I never want to do less than I did the year before. And so I had one time where, a lender said, I don't know if I was buying my house or refinancing my house. Many, many years ago, probably in the 2016, 2018 space. And they said, oh, wow, you made, quite a bit more last year than you did this year. And I never wanted that to happen again. So I use that as my motivation. I want to stay on the trajectory that I'm going. That's why I consistently stretch myself. That's why I want to grow. That's why I did, sign up for Phil Jones' class in June. And I did sign up for Business Mastery in August, and I go to these places in person. I'm not a Zoom girl. I like to be facing.
Where's the Business Mastery class for Tony Robbins?
West Palm Beach. So he has a studio, 500 person studio in West Palm Beach. He does do it virtually as well.
Mhm.
But like I said, I like to
Do the whole
interact. I want to be there. I want to soak up. I've always been that girl who wants to be in like the first 3 rows
Yeah.
because I can be distracted. My kids tease me constantly about
Mhm.
being ADHD and having
Mhm.
my brain split and go into a million directions. And so to be able to dedicate the brain space that I need to dedicate, I have to be close up in person, you
Mhm.
know.
It's so funny because that's exactly you and I have that in common is that I have to be a front row girl. And I think that ADHD or ADD is a gift.
I do too.
I
I
think
tell
it's a
my girls
gift.
that all the time. I'm like, no, 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 it's a good
No,
thing.
this
It's a
is
good thing.
a good thing because we can do so many things at one time. The bad thing is that we think that we do so many things at the same time well. We don't do them well, but we are making progress in all those directions. I always think it's a gift and remind, especially salespeople, that just lean into it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I cannot, and this drives my girl crazy, but I cannot cook dinner without cleaning my kitchen.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just can't do it. And so I am doing a million things.
Uh-huh.
I'm chopping the cilantro, loading the dishwasher, feeding the dogs, taking out the dogs. So it might take me a little while to make dinner and get it on the table, but it will eventually be
It'll
on the
get
table,
there.
even if it's like East Coast time, like 8 o'clock at night, we're eating.
Hey, and then we're also voice to texting people too.
Oh,
Like
totally.
I put my phone upside down in my pocket and I click the button and voice to text and then I send it. And then sometimes it shows up kind of crazy, but I mean, I'm still doing things all the time. And my husband and my son, they're like, "Are you talking to us?" No, I'm talking to my phone.
I know, I know. Well, I
Well,
drive people crazy because I do those voice texts
mhm.
because sometimes I'm driving.
Right.
I don't want to text. My husband yells at me all the time
Mhm.
about not being on my phone while I'm
Yeah.
driving. So I do the voice text
Yeah.
because I can't respond to their text any other way.
Right.
I don't have time to call them. I only have 2 seconds. So
Mhm.
everybody's like, oh man, your voice text always disappear. I go, hit the keep button. If you hit the keep button, it'll save it.
Exactly. I always say that my next hire is going to be a chauffeur, which like it sounds so, I don't know, it sounds hoity toity, but the amount of
Oh
time that I
man.
lose in driving because I can't be on my computer, I can't properly be on my phone, I can't make those phone calls and do those things I need to get done. That a chauffeur, somebody just to drive me
A
around. And
driver,
sometimes
yeah.
my husband will just, if I'm super busy, can you just drive me today and
Yeah.
just hop me all over the place where I need to go because we just lose so much time.
Oh, no,
So
I agree. I
I
don't
get
think
it.
that that's not a luxury at all. I think that, so many people at the highest level
Mhm.
do have drivers so that they can sit in the back of the car with their
Mhm.
computer, their phone, and still keep working.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do like to drive. I do want to, be away. I do think there's something to be said for
Mm.
resting our mind, taking some time away from social media, taking some time
Yes.
away from our phone.
Mhm.
I've turned off my phone for the podcast.
Mhm.
It gives you a little bit of anxiety, but it's okay because
Yeah.
you can adjust,
Mhm.
your own mind. You need to tell your brain what to think, what to say, what to do, how to feel. Our brain doesn't get to tell us
Right.
what to do, what to say, what to think. So, I mean, I think that it's a good discipline. I mean, but I think having a driver is an excellent idea, especially for
In my
you
future.
being an hour and a half away
Yeah.
from the valley.
Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely. And losing so much time in that. End up having to drive very, very early in the morning before
Right.
everything else even
Opens.
starts happening, before everybody else is awake. But I did have a client text me last night at 4
Yeah.
a.m. At 4 a.m. and I was up at 4:30, so I texted him back.
I had someone text me at 5:59 this morning and I texted them right back and they were like, whoa.
It's like I would rather just knock it out and get it
Yeah.
gone. So Kelly, in wrapping up, what will your legacy look like?
I hope that my legacy is love.
Mhm.
Love for my people,
Mhm.
love for my clients, love and passion for what I do,
Mhm.
love for my husband, love, you know, most importantly for my Heavenly Father.
Yeah.
So thankful, so grateful that He has me where I am
Yes.
today, the provision that I can give to my family.
Mm.
I'm blessed beyond, what I could have ever believed
Mhm.
and so thankful for, people that I get to come across their path like you.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm 53 years old and I keep getting to meet new people, I always say that I'm an introverted extrovert because I do love
Same.
alone time, and I can go to a restaurant and eat by myself and bring a book. I can go to a movie by myself. I love my people. I'm passionate about my people, but I'm so thankful. I'm thankful for, where I am in life, even though, like you said earlier, there was a massive struggle. I went through the fire, but you do come out so refined on the other side. And I know that I'll be going through some more fires, but I know that refining process is important.
Yes.
And I'm thankful for the fact that I have gone through that fire so I can empathize. I can understand, what my clients are going through, and so I hope that love is my legacy.
Oh, Kelly, I love it. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for
thank
sharing all of
you.
this. This was so much fun to do this in person
I
like
loved
this.
it.
And I'm so excited to see what the feedback is. I know that our listeners are just going to love this. So thank you so much for your time
Yes.
today.
Thank you, Colleen, and
I
thank you,
appreciate
listeners.
you. Thanks again for listening to this week's episode of the Success Realtor Podcast. Just as a reminder, I'm the producing branch manager of the Wood team at Hometown Lenders. What we are known for are three things. Number one, we close on time. Number two, we keep our realtors in the sales seat at all times by keeping them updated on their current transactions. And number three, when you entrust us with a lead, we follow up on that lead until they buy, fly, or die. Leads are never lost to our lack of follow-up. Our number one priority is for you to earn more money in commission so that you can improve the lives of your family, community, and in turn, our country. So, can I count on you for that next buyer lead? I would love to work with you too. Also, if you're interested in being a guest on the podcast, please just reach out to my office. All right, we'll talk to you when you call in, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Success Realtor Podcast. Bye-bye.